You're watching the Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com.
I'm already into the 420, damn it!
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. Just as much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiba grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the 420 radio show. Ow. Everybody's muted. Come on.
You're muted, Al.
You're muted. No, you're muted. I was only muted here. I was not muted on Spreaker.
Because I could see your lips moving.
I was like, hi, how are you?
So could you hear me?
I could hear you, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we should let the rest of them unmute their mics.
No, I don't want to hear Darcy's voice today.
I don't know what you were talking about.
Darcy.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? What's wrong with my voice today?
Nothing. Hello to anybody's listening.
Rattling with this paper, see, Al? That's why I was on mute.
And we're also on Twitch again. Hi, Twitch people.
And just to let you know, we do have a guest tonight. Our guest is our regular favorite lawyer friend, Jack Lloyd, is coming on, and Jack is awesome because I just messaged Jack and I said, "Hey, coming on to the show," and he said, "Hey, when is it?" I said, he said, "Give me 5 minutes. I just got off a flight." So he's probably going to be calling from an Uber.
You think so?
He's done it before.
Oh, yes, he has. Yes, he has.
And if he just got off a flight, I mean, he might have just got home from a flight. But
yeah, that could be what it is. You know, he said the same thing last week.
Well, he's a
busy boy.
I hope he collects like air miles.
I would hope. I would hope. Yes, he makes some good air miles there. Who's dinging me? Somebody dinged me.
Somebody dinged me.
Oh, was it you being dingy? What's going on there, Dale?
Not much, man. I'm just kind of relaxing tonight. Had a busy day transplanting and getting stuff ready for the grow room.
Yeah. I'm doing that tomorrow. We're going to start rapping. I have young fellers with workable arms coming. I will get up on my old man ladder and staple. Yep.
Is that how you're fastening staples?
Staple, and then we'll tape all the staples. Tape them over.
I think that's what I'm going to do too.
Yeah.
I thought about doing screws with washers, but it's a lot of fucking around.
I thought about that too, but that's a lot of fucking around. So I got me a $80 electric stapler and some staples, and I'm going to staple it, and then I'm going to tuck tape it.
Tape it and then staple.
Tape it and then staple?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And the reason being is the tape is stronger, is just an added strength layer.
Do I tape it after as well?
You can if you want.
So I'll just go straight down. I'll make a line. I'll make a line.
I'll
make a line and then staple it. And what was that, Darcy?
I said, if like Marcel said, the reason you want to do that is it'll strengthen up your plastic.
Okay. It looks pretty thick, this stuff. So
it is. It's pretty thick. But a staple tends to be pretty narrow unless you can get wider staples, right? And a narrow staple is
they're your standard short
which is
staples,
which is a narrow staple.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less surface area to attach to the plastic. So by making the tape layer there, it strengthens it. You can even use duct tape, right? Just to give it a strength layer of something to go through before it goes into the wood.
Okay.
Then you can seal over that with another piece of tuck tape or something.
Okay. I get that. Because what I was thinking about doing was just using slivers of cardboard. Right. But then that's something that creates a bubble, and I'd have to tape that up.
It's not a matter of that. Where would you put the cardboard? Against the wall, against the wood?
No, on
the plastic side.
On the plastic side.
All right. The problem with that is any moisture gets into the cardboard. It's a really good breeding ground for bacteria and molds.
Yes, I get that. Yep.
All right.
I figured that out as I said it.
Now, you could take a whole bunch of pieces of plastic, either circles or squares, and hold them up against the plastic and then staple through and do it that way. And that would give you that much more reinforcement.
Huh. You're giving me too many ideas.
Well, I'm sorry. But okay. That's what I do for my entire life is give people ideas.
Somebody says Happy Green Day because it is St. Patty's Day.
I got my green shirt on,
and I have my Hempfest shirt on that I still have. It's a little holy. I'll be requiring a new one, Deb.
Hempfest?
Yes. Harvest Fest. Sorry.
Harvest Fest.
Yes. I wear this all the time. I love it. Mainly because it's got my logo on the back.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'll be needing a new one.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's. I find it very interesting.
No, I'm reading the comments that somebody's trying to sell
I find it very interesting that just because somebody sees that we have a live stream going on, we want to have their sales pitches. We don't. So when the show's done, I'll make sure that I delete your comment. So don't even bother.
Yeah.
It won't be.
That's just sad.
Well, it's people trying to promote, and I get the promoting thing, but no thanks. We're not interested. We're doing our own thing. Go about do your own thing. How's that? If I haven't said it, this is the 420 Radio Show.
Did you read the comment from Dale? Dale better have his mic on.
5 seconds, eh?
It's a long. All right, Dale. Turn your mic on now.
8, 9, 10,
That's 1007.
12, 13,
all right, Dale.
15, 16,
Turn your mic on.
17, 18, 19.
Mic is on.
There we go. 20 seconds.
A 20-second delay. 12,007. All right, Dale. Okay, that's unacceptable.
Dale has company. He's got company. No, you see what he does is he sits in here with us and then he watches it on YouTube because that makes it more like there's more people in the room, so he has more company. Keeps him happy.
He's entertaining himself because you can watch Al on a big screen.
Yep.
So might as well, since you're the only one with the camera on, you might as well make yourself center and keep it there.
Hi, how are you?
It lets my old man eyes be able to see it.
There you go.
But there's nothing to see.
Well, actually, I can do this. There we go. Since I'm the only one. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just have to remember not to pick my nose tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't pick your nose.
So
you can pick your friends. You can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose because they get offended.
Well, it depends on what kind of friend they are.
Well, it's a friend with no arms. They might be thankful.
I just hope they don't ask me to pick their feet because I'd rather pick somebody's nose than their feet.
But if you think about it, somebody with no hands or no arms, how would they pick their nose? Would they use their feet?
I would think that they would have a dog or something do that for them.
Question for you, Marcel.
What?
Mr. Laughy Pants.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like it. I'm all laughed out from my fucking comedy show.
What were you watching? What comedy show?
I was watching Bert Kreischer's new one on Netflix.
Never heard of it.
Oh, he's funny as fuck, Al. The Machine. Yeah, he's funny.
We got rid of Netflix.
Has anybody watched Chris Rock's thing?
I watched parts of it.
And I want nothing to do with it. I'm not a big fan of his to begin with, so I probably won't watch it. And I hear that he's taken a lot of hits from what he said, so get over it. Move on.
Question for you, Marcel.
Sure.
I was going to say answer for you, Darcy.
Well, I would have, but...
rosin. Can you decarboxylate rosin?
Sure you can.
Okay.
You can decarboxylate anything.
Okay. Now, when you're doing decarboxylate,
but you're gonna, and we were talking about this last week. You're gonna lose some of your terpenes.
I know you're gonna lose your terpenes.
Sure you are.
But when you're eating it, I don't care about the terpene. I care about the medicinal effects.
Does that not take away from the medicinal effect, killing off the terps, or do terpenes like THC convert into something else?
I think everything gases off and converts into something else.
Yeah.
But now the medicinal benefits, well, that's for the scientists and smart people to dispute. I find that, I've eaten some of my rosin before, and it really wasn't decarboxylated. It took a little more, and I got high as fuck, but it took a long time.
I eat my rosin all the time, and it gives me a nice, comfortable day. Not a lot of pain.
Just because I made an ounce of rosin, and
how many rounds of squishing did it take you to complete an ounce of rosin?
7.
Really? That's all at what, 14, 15 at a time?
Right around there. They range between 10 and 17 actually.
You're using a pre-squish?
Yeah, all I'm using is Keith.
Can you send? Do you have a link for one of them? I need one of them pre-squisher thingies.
Yeah, see, but here's the thing: if you're squishing Keith, you don't want a pre-squisher.
Oh.
You want to put your Keith in your bag loose.
Okay.
But here's the thing: now for you, Al, I would suggest using Keith when you're using Keith. Use about a 73 to a 90 micron bag for you because you're likely going to want to get a little more rosin back, but also not sacrifice your quality.
Okay. I
use a 37 micron bag.
Typically not using any bags. I've never bought any yet, anyways.
You do. You want bags if you're going to squish Keith.
Okay. Well, it makes sense because it would hold it in.
Yeah. And because if you don't, it's just going to run everywhere.
Yeah. I get that.
Now, could you set your the heating plates on the press a little higher, Darcy, and decarb it on the press, or does that work at all, or no?
And I haven't got into doing that yet. The hottest I've turned my plates up because my plates are a little fucky anyway. So I know the temperature. I got a temperature gun just to make sure where my temperatures are. But I've had my press up to like 240, 260, and you'll get back a lot more rosin, but it'll come out hard as fuck. You can still use it; it's just harder to get off the paper.
Yeah.
What pisses me off is when it's really waxy. Then you don't get as much off.
I made stuff the other night. I don't know if you've seen, Dale. It was pretty near Snow White.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I shared it on Instagram. I'll send you guys a picture here. But you
want to darken it up?
What's that?
Want to darken it up?
Oh, that rosin?
Yeah. Decarboxylate it.
Oh, I know. That's all I got to do is hold heat to it.
Yeah.
But I got some rosin that I got now that just comes out dark. I find most outdoor comes out dark anyways.
Yeah.
But it's not dark.
Who asked the question if you can decarboxylate rosin? Was that you, Darcy?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Look, Al?
Yo. Oh, here, let me make you big here so you can...
This will eat my battery up quick. So
what is this? This is the rosin.
This is my ounce.
Wow, dude. That's nice. Oh, so
like
were you able to salvage the terps and all that as well, or no?
There's terps in this, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you just take a big chunk and we'll see how long it takes you to fall asleep?
Holy fuck, yeah. You can make a snake out of it.
Yeah. Make a panda bear.
You can make all kinds of art, but I'm going to show you something real quick before I turn my camera back off so don't eat up all my battery. Here's some of the stuff. This stuff is chirpy as fuck. I sent Marcel a picture, but...
White rosin. It's almost like a cream more than a clear rosin.
You can spread it on a paper, and as soon as you touch it, the terpenes are just out of this world.
I'm looking forward to seeing that on Sunday.
Yes, you will see some of this on Sunday.
Why? What are you guys doing on Sunday?
I'm going
to go and get that damn rosin.
Oh,
didn't you see it?
He's going to bring. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a deal because I want some gummies.
Oh, he's sighing. We'll talk. Yes, we'll talk. He says we'll talk.
So
to decarboxylate rosin is the same as decarboxylating bud before you make butter in your magic butter machine.
Except for you don't burn off as many terpenes when you're decarbing and just the bud, right? Or you burn off the same.
You're going to burn off the same because the terpenes vaporize at different temperatures, right? So some terpenes will have higher temperatures that they'll vaporize at. They'll stay intact. But the lower, more volatile terpenes will vaporize quicker. But THC molecule or THC molecule to be decarboxylated to become delta 9 just requires heat and time.
Huh.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. It took
no
longer
problem.
to get back than I expected. How's everybody doing?
Where were you flying to this time, buddy?
I was in Windsor, Ontario for a grow up trial.
Oh.
Well, there you go, Jack. Never apologize when you're out fighting the good fight.
Well, that's what I always say when he apologizes for not being able to show up because, you're such a busy guy, dude. And I'm like, dude, no, you're welcome anytime. So, yeah.
You never know that one day
I
might be happy to see your face.
Yeah, that one day.
You guys are too kind to me, too kind. So what's shaking?
Not much. We're just talking about growing shit.
I was just playing with a big ball of rosin.
He was playing with his balls.
I love it.
And I'm trying
to
the computer.
What's new with everybody?
We got another 3 feet of snow up here.
Where are you?
Terrace Bay. I'm at the very northern tip of Lake Superior. I see burgers going with snowbirds going by. It's really cool. You see sheets of ice floating by. Yeah.
He went like 14 hours northwest
of
where he was.
Yes.
How did you end up so far north?
That's what we keep saying.
I have friends up here that have been bugging me to come up here for years, and I had nowhere else to go. I'm here. But I think it's I was a positive choice.
Yeah, it's just it's harder now to get you to come to Harvest Fest.
You get me a sponsor.
About an extra day drive.
You find me a sponsor that'll pay the $1,500 flight from Thunder Bay to where you guys are, and I'll come.
$1,500.
You know, it's almost $700 to fly from Thunder Bay to Hamilton, but I can get a ticket on that cheapy airline for like $68 over a weekend, or like 200. Yeah, Flair. Or like 200 from Toronto on Porter. Porter seems to be the best one. It's about $300 return.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
What's your law firm's policy on sponsorship?
Oh, great question. I have no idea. I was friends with Danny Danko for ages from like High Times or whatever,
I know Danny. He's been on the show. Yeah.
He's a good guy, and so like when they started theirs, I did like, I don't know what I paid, but I did like a sponsorship thing, so that was cool. But I'm totally open to whatever.
You should advertise on CBG TV, which we're on, Jack. Say welcome to everybody on Roku, or almost Roku as we're calling it at the moment. If you want to find us live, you can find us on the Boxcast app on Roku. If you want to see our catalog, it'll get there eventually. Working.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're also on Twitch right now. This is our second show on Twitch. Yep. LinkedIn, Facebook, 15 different Facebook pages, 3 or 4 different YouTubes, LinkedIn and Boxcast, and
that's amazing.
We are being simulcasted.
Yeah, a little bit.
Love it.
Just a little bit.
Love it.
Do you remember when simulcasting was a huge word and everybody loved hearing it from Much Music? Because a Much Music simulcast made you just jump for joy with live music. They don't do that anymore. Now it's all fucking movies.
Oh, but this is a simulcast, so you guys should jump for joy listening, because we're a simulcast.
Come on, let's all do a dab.
Well, I'm rolling a joint, so I'll have that.
You remember when that shit came out, when everybody was doing the dab, the dance?
The what?
Before legalization, there was a whole dab movement, but it was a dance because it was in a music video, a rap video. So everybody was walking around going, like doing a dab, right? But now a dab doesn't mean that anymore. A dab means, let's dab it up, man.
I don't think I've ever seen this music video.
Oh, well, go up. Just do a Google for what is the dab dance move or whatever it is, and then bring it up.
All right, I will.
Well, you bring that up. I'll ask.
While I'm rolling my joint,
Jack, what's going on with things in the world of legalization?
Criminalization,
decriminalization. What are they calling it now?
No.
Pain in the ass.
They call it legalization, but when you add more crimes than you had before as part of legalization, I would call that as criminalization.
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing stuff about.
Go ahead, Jack's the lawyer. He can
possible changes coming forth. Maybe Jack has heard about that.
What happened?
You keep hearing that they did a big poll, Health Canada, right?
Yeah.
Trying to gather information from people that we have no idea who they are, but they're trying to get information from them on cannabis. And there's I get the press thingies, and there's so many of them about this and that they get lost now, and you don't really see much about anything about where things are going with the changes, if there's going to be changes. What are you hearing, Jack? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Hold on. What are you drinking? What brand?
I'm drinking whiskey.
Yes.
It's St. Patrick's Day. I just had a long flight, so I had a cannabis sucker that is really lovely. But I wanted some whiskey, so I'm drinking whiskey.
Well, go for a case. Tell us what kind. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure.
Anyways, you were going to say something. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I participated in my share of the Health Canada meetings on all of this. So certainly I've made my position clear, that I'm the president of Normal Canada, and in that capacity provided them with some of my advocacy issues. But ultimately they are behaving in a very conservative way as it relates to products. It appears they're going to be more progressive as it relates to tax. So it looks like there may be some tax relief coming for industry participants. But as far as product availability, they're still very conservative. And so I think I was counsel on one case that dealt with the prohibitions on certain derivative products, but and then appeared as an expert witness in another one that and ultimately the government doesn't appear to be listening to courts when courts say that they need to make these products available. So it remains to be seen what they do in the legal market.
And I just saw an article this morning about the same thing going on in the States. Same argument.
The States is really interesting. I went to a legal conference in Washington, D.C. for cannabis lawyers, and had a blast with all of these American state-based cannabis lawyers. And like part of the really interesting issue is that they had essentially hemp. So if they use CBD to make Delta 8, right, which is like very similar to Delta 9 THC, then it's perfect. It's perfectly lawful. And so what ended up happening was this massive expansion of the CBD market. So you get these hemp farmers that grow 400 acres of hemp, distill it into CBD, and then there's a chemical process to turn the CBD into Delta 8. So it's hemp derived and therefore lawful.
I didn't know that.
And it decimated the cannabis market, because suddenly someone is saying, okay, so I can get a state-based legal THC product for $50, and you're saying that there's a completely legal, federally unregulated CBD product that does the same thing, and I can get it for $18. Like, it's Delta 8 instead of Delta 9. And so that went everywhere. So that's this dominant issue in the States. And so, and there's been rulings on it, and that's been upheld. So currently the CBD derivatives, right, i.e. Delta 8, are lawful. And it's really it's a regulatory conundrum, frankly.
And they're trying to, and the article that I saw this morning made mention of the U.S. is going for patents on it so they can slow it down or stop it, or same thing they did with THC, I guess.
You know what? I don't know too much about any of the patent issues, but I will say that like the legal issue surrounding Delta 8 is absolutely fascinating, and
wow.
I don't think that there's an easy solution. So
we're going to see more products with Delta 8 in it.
In the States, at least, yeah. And there's some movement in Europe on that front as well with certain CBD derivatives. I don't know if they're looking to this this circuit court ruling from the States.
Where do we stand in Canada with it?
Well, see, Canada took the opposite tack, right? So what's unique, like prior to legalization, only cannabinoids derived from cannabis or marijuana, or as defined under the legislation, only those cannabinoids were unlawful, specifically Delta-9. If it was derived from another source, and other plants produced them, then it wasn't prohibited. And they amended that in October 2018 when they legalized. Then they said, okay, it's all phytocannabinoids, right? So it's like, okay, that means it doesn't matter where it came from. So if you have cannabidiol inadvertently derived from a hop vine, which is how they grow, it's used to flavor beer, then you're violating the Cannabis Act. Tough luck.
Wow.
So you had this glut, like in 2019. There was this period in which they did not have enough CBD distillate and derivative. They weren't producing enough, and there was a huge market for it. And this is where the confusion arose, because you got all these American companies saying, like, we can supply you forever with CBD derivative, CBD distillate derivatives, etc. But of course, so I would get these calls from people saying, we've got a tanker truck full of it at the border,
and we can't get it
and
over.
I would go, like, there's no chain of custody on this. Like, it's completely illegal. I'm sorry. And so anyway, so it's that just doesn't work in Canada. It has to go through an LP. It's the only way to establish the and I shouldn't even say LP. I get chastised by very smart lawyers now that it doesn't go through license holders.
Are you past the junior lawyer stage in your career now?
I don't know. I'm what am I? I'm less than 10 years. I think I'm.
That kind of goes away after
I'll be
the
junior as long as they let me be junior.
Junior, yeah.
After 10 years, you become an expert.
Yeah, I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am, guys.
Because they basically say, they look at it as, if you've studied something for 10 years or more, then you would be an expert in that subject.
Well, I like the sound of that.
Considered an expert in that subject.
That's pretty cool.
So I've been studying cannabis for way more than 10 years. I would be an expert in cannabis, as would many of the others here. Jack would be an expert in cannabis law.
Well, I would agree that you guys are experts on cannabis. Absolutely. I've been listening to your show for more than 10 years.
Closer to 15, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
We've shared a lot of information in 10 years, in 15 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, like we've literally watched legalization happen from before Jack was even a lawyer. I didn't even know. I mean, I've known Jack for a long time, and he was an editor. He still does editing for Green Candy Press. Mm-hmm. And some of the best.
When Jack was first coming on the show with us, he was just an editor.
He was just a wee little Jack,
and just starting at law school.
He wasn't even a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I was doing was I was just laughing because the last time I was on, I stacked all the books up because I was like showing them off, and they're still sitting here. I was doing all these beauties.
Yeah.
With my there it is. Woohoo! I've got my background blurred so you don't see how messy my attic is.
I have that book.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Wait, now I got it. Which book?
Series. That book you just held up.
I didn't see. I was on another screen.
See, I have the whole series.
Oh, I don't have that one.
There's a sativa one too, Marcel.
You have to send me a list, Jack, because I don't even know what you guys have, and then I'll make an order.
Hey, I have that one too.
I want to have
nice
all of the green
I'll just
candy
get yours,
books.
Darcy.
I want to have all the green candy books here on our shelves for when people come to my bed and breakfast. They have stuff to read.
Oh, that's super cool, dude. This one
breakfast
cool
in Northern Ontario.
Yes, that's right.
This dude Mel Thomas did the forward for me, and he was this like British cannabis guy. So he went to jail for cannabis, and while in jail, thought up this cool book called Marijuana Horticulture and or Marijuana Cultivation rather. And then he did it when he came out of jail, and so I did the second edition of it, and it's this beautiful book. And he's the nicest man, like just super, like just a super cool guy. And
Lee wrote a lot of his stuff in jail as well, apparently. Professor Lee. Some of Professor Lee's, some of his stuff he wrote down while he was doing time.
Do you ever hear from Charles?
I haven't heard from him in years. No.
Yeah, he went.
His wife got sick, and he kind of just dropped out, like a lot of us have. I mean, there was a lot of. I don't know anybody that goes to these events now anymore, Jack. I don't know anybody who's talking. I mean, I know Amy, I know Abby, I know those names, of course,
but they're not the numbers that we had before.
No,
because we get burnt out, right? I mean, seriously, because it takes a lot to be an advocate.
It does.
So
some people will never stop, though.
Right. Those of us, but I'm sure that those people that we used to see all the time, that we don't see anymore, they haven't stopped. They've just downsized to take the load off. Yeah, it can be stressful.
They've switched a path. They switched their paths. That's all. I mean, I still see and hear from people that I've known for years in the community that I don't see even posting in the community anymore.
Right. Well, if you think about it, where are people posting now? Because at one time it was always on Facebook, but
it's
Facebook
everywhere now.
Has now just gotten full of ads.
Yeah, yep.
So you're seeing more sponsored posts than anything.
And apparently Twitch as well.
Not everybody uses Instagram.
No.
Right?
No.
And
I haven't figured Instagram out yet, to be honest.
Me either. So I don't use it. I barely use Facebook. Every once in a while I'll share something. But social media is changed so much to money driven.
Well, even YouTube Music has announced that their premium service is going to include podcasts as well. So you'll be able to pay for everything that's on YouTube already for nothing and watch it on your subscription at YouTube Music. Now, I have to say, I know I'm bitching, but I have that subscription because I really enjoy the service. So,
do you guys remember when Remo's stuff all got removed from YouTube?
Yeah.
And it was like
a lot of stuff.
I remember
got removed. Yeah.
It was so sad, and I don't think it's ever been recovered. Like every once in a while, I'll get I have this old picture from 2009 or 2010 with Remo at some event, and I was like, God damn, man, because there's this video of us doing an interview, and I'm showing off my books or whatever, and I just thought, what a cultural loss, right? Of this, right? How many political social movements get to say, also, by the way, we totally won. We we had this big thing we did trying to legalize a substance, and then we did it.
Yeah.
We legalized it.
And
meanwhile,
and then the rest of the world followed us.
Some weird corporate entity deleted all record of half the stuff we did.
It's kind of like, look up what happened overseas when a country decided to get rid of their debt overnight by throwing out the World Bank and all of their corrupt politicians and bankers. and you never hear about it. And rewriting their own constitution. Right? So you're only going to get the mainstream media is only going to let you see what they want you to see.
Yeah, like did you see in the news this morning what happened? Putin has been issued. There's been a bench warrant by the ICC for Putin.
Of course.
Well, it's not a bench warrant.
I know. I'm just being silly.
I would love for it to be. I think that's super fast.
Well, I mean, it just means hilarious. All it means is they have served an international warrant for the arrest of Putin for war crimes in the Ukraine. But really, all that means is Putin won't be leaving Russia anytime soon. They're trying to. I just watched.
I'm thinking Putin didn't have any intentions of leaving Russia anytime soon.
Well, no, I mean there
would be so many hits on his head at the moment.
They're seizing money. I watched a whole thing on the border thingy, and they're seizing money. They've seized every millionaire's ship that they could get their hands on. They followed it,
except for the ones that the Bidens didn't arrest.
Oh, really?
There was two oligarchs they didn't arrest.
Wow.
Who?
Yeah, there was. I pay attention to this stuff a little bit, and I was watching the news the other morning, and they were talking about all of these oligarchs got arrested except for two of them, and those were the two that had ties to the Bidens.
Really? Because they got the ones that had ties to Russia.
Yeah. And
directly to Putin. At least, who knows what's true, but,
Exactly.
It's the media.
They're spinning it. They're making a story, and they're even keeping it going.
But here's something that nobody is willing to talk about. And
hello, Lennie.
Hey, just popping in and say hi.
Hey, hi. So the one thing that none of them are talking about is why is Russia doing this?
You guys are talking about Russia?
Yeah.
Dude, we're doing a hardcore St. Patrick's Day thing, Lennie. So, what the hell? We're all drunk on whiskey.
But this is nobody stops to think why. Why did this war start to begin with? And nobody talks about that.
I heard something a long time ago, but that's depressing.
Yeah, we got real dark.
We'll get off the depressing and think about who you're going to hit tonight.
You like that shot?
Yeah, because you really look like you're getting ready to hit somebody.
I got a few more drinks before that happens.
Where are you at? You're not at home.
No, I'm at a party. I just stepped outside for a second.
Oh, you should have brought some of the party out with you.
They're not that much fun. Oh, they're friends, but they're pretty conservative. Maybe around midnight, though, I might liven up a smidge.
Yeah, watch. One of them watches this show religiously every Saturday.
No, they don't. No, they're
you're going to
nice
find out that they suck.
No, they're nice people. They're just a little chill at the moment.
Oh, so you can't even coax one out for a joint? Wow.
No, actually, none of them will smoke. I don't think. Couple, one or two will probably around 11 when they're drunk enough. I think it's stupid. That's the worst time to actually have a smoke.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so much better to have a smoke before you if you're going to be doing an alcohol night.
100%, especially if you're not
Makes me I don't like it. If I've been drinking a bunch of alcohol and people are smoking weed, I don't like it actually. I'm just
really?
I'll have a little bit.
No, I'm like Jack. Yeah,
I get too wonky.
Do you really want to have fun before an alcohol night? Eat edibles. You'll drink a lot less and you'll have way more fun.
See,
do mushrooms.
Edibles to me is like I'm going to bed, just chill myself. I don't find them social for me at all. Smoking, yes.
I like edibles.
I had a cannabis sucker, and it's just like this really gentle leveling up high. It's really lovely, actually. Because I almost never do edibles.
I miss Paula's edibles.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of joints with me, and I did have a smoke on the way drive over. I'm in a subdivision, by the way. People, don't fucking call the cops on me. They're not fucking. If I can't make it 1,000 yards, I'm sorry. Fuck off.
Hey, Len.
They just said you could have walked.
Basically.
Can I ask you a question, Len? Did you, when you were leaving to come outside for your little chat with us, did you tell people that you were leaving because you're on a podcast that's on Audible?
No, I didn't. I did tell people to work all week, though. I said, fucking Audible, fuckers. And they were like, so. The worst part was some people were like, "What's Audible?" I was like,
yeah.
Oh, come on.
I think he fell off the porch.
Oh no! I hope not.
He just went black.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. He fell off the porch.
I remember when I was. What's up, Darcy?
I said, Tara, come out after him.
Anyways, you remember what do you remember, Jack?
Oh, I was just thinking of so when I finished university, I backpacked for like 3 straight years in Europe, and I spent I don't know, must have been 6 months in this little village in Scotland, and I remember like my last night in Scotland. We went to this beautiful pub by the loch or whatever. And this old guy, he was drinking whiskey and he finished a bottle of scotch and then started another bottle. And I remember the bartender said to him, Tommy, I think you set a record. That's 28 or like it was like a significant number of like ounces of whiskey. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, that man sat there for however many 6 hours and drank more than a 26er, like a 26er and then some.
Been there, done that.
And it's a long time ago, but I remember I later saying to the bartender, I said, how did he get home? And he goes, oh, he drove himself.
Did you fall off the deck there, Lenny?
No. Oh, I have my camera on? No. It's the neighborhood I'm in. I don't know if you can see it.
Everything went black. And
I just probably tilted my phone down because I'm lazy.
I thought Tara come out and got you, Lenny.
What's that?
I thought Tara come out and grabbed you.
She will soon.
Get your fucking ass in there.
Well, to be honest, they know where I go when I go for walks. And I usually come out and have a smoke. Because I normally don't drink anymore. So they're used to me leaving. But I was like Jack was saying, like I really probably won't even have a joint the rest of the night if I'm drinking whiskey like I am. Maybe when I get home just to go to bed, but
I would.
I don't like mixing it.
We'll stay out until she comes out. So because we've never met your wife, so
you've never met Tara?
No, we've never. She's never walked on camera.
Well, I kind of yell at her. It's about her. I kind of yell at her, stay out of my way.
Well, maybe now you can tell her you're on Audible.
They won't come out because I say they're used to me leaving. No, most of the people I'm here, like they really don't smoke cannabis. And when we do socialize, like I really don't drink.
So can I ask a question? How do you have any friends that are no longer friends since you've gotten into that business?
No.
They're all still
no. They listen. They all know I smoke. They just choose. A lot of them are drinking it now.
Yeah.
Again, most of my friends are like doctors, pharmacists, health professionals, so they get all uppity on the lung thing, right?
Yeah. That's my doctor said to me, if you smoke, I don't want you smoking because why? I said, because if you smoke, you're going to get cancer. That's exactly how he said it.
That's not true. But,
no, but that's how he said it.
But I do, if you're going to smoke every day, like there's got to be some risk of COPD. I'm sorry. There has to be. So
I don't get that though, because it works. It works wonders for people with asthma.
Yeah. I think I remember I litigated this, and there's an expectorant quality.
Yep. There is a bit of one to it. So,
but as well, after like all the mountains of evidence in Malmo Levine, they said like it's it's relatively benign, which was the court's way of saying, like,
that's a great way to phrase it.
I call it the Kaflempt effect.
No, like
smokers smoke, so that's the way I see it.
No, like
smokers
again, I tried personally only smoke it 3 or 4 times a week. Now, when I go away to lift things, I probably smoke 3 or 4 times a day, or conferences. but the other thing, but just myself personally, I try not to. Again, the pharmacists come at me, right? I try not to smoke it every day, but the way I look at risk versus benefit, if it's making someone's quality of life better, they're functioning better, I wouldn't worry about what might happen 20, 30 years down the road versus your everyday enjoyment and happiness, right?
So my 3 to 4 before noon is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But again,
every day.
You have a very severe medical condition that I would be fucking pumping into me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Risk versus benefit, right?
Just give me a funnel.
As far as myself,
I eat a lot more.
Yeah, and Darcy,
well, this is
more of it, man.
Yeah. This is a 2-hour show, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to smoke 3 to 4 joints.
Yeah, me too. Maybe even and my Shatterizer. I'll throw that in there now and then.
As well as edibles before the show started, just so I could come onto the show.
And the other reason I don't smoke a lot on the show, as I said, is like I get less talking.
Mm. You know, I've recently started. I grind up my own capsules now, Jack, and I like them. I took one yesterday. I took one today. Took one the day before.
Good for you.
Yep.
Capsules of THC and CBD, or
No.
Capsules of
shroomies.
Talking about psilocybin, right?
Shrooms.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Fun
yeah,
guy.
like that's generally my preferred.
I don't like the taste.
Yeah, well, it can just be
No
challenging.
one likes the taste.
There's part of the actual mushroom that's hard to digest, and it can actually like be a headache. Whereas I find with the capsules, it's just so smooth. Like that's what I did a book called the Psilocybin Mushroom Bible, and I remember as we're doing it, I got in this huge fight with other people working on it. I said it has to have capsules and microdosing. I don't care if it's 1 page, but it's going in. And everybody said, "Oh, that's bullshit. No one cares about that." Like this is like 2013 when I did this book.
Oh wow!
People weren't like super hyped on microdosing, and we did it, and like everybody was like, "That's my favorite part." It's like 4 pages in this like 300-page book.
It's like a battery
for me.
It's
so important. I don't want to just eat the mushrooms. It's like it's such a friggin' drag.
I don't like it because you're like, and then you're.
I did it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember I used to pick them, and then. That's another Scotland story. Is they grew on the farm I worked on in Scotland, and so I picked like an insane number of them and dried them out, and then I was going to Ireland, and I did not know that Irish border security would be on the others, like my side, when I traveled there. So they're like searching my bags, and I've got like a lot of magic mushrooms in there.
What did they do or say?
They never found them, but I got paranoid. So as soon as I got on the ferry, I ate all of them. I was
God.
Just in case. Yeah. Just in case the police were going to get me when I got to Ireland. So I just ended up tripping balls for this weird ferry ride all the way to Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Was it a fun guy trip, Jack?
Oh, dude, it was the most fun guy trip.
See, I've never done that much.
I remember I was sitting and I was having all the lights and everything. It was so wonderful. But the only irritating part is I kept getting annoyed. There were all these children that just wouldn't stop screaming and bothering me and getting in my way and running around. And I was just sitting in one spot, and I'm like, it's me, but like 15 years younger and way hairier and with a giant backpack on. I look like I've been living in the woods and stuff. And I'm kind of getting a little angry at these kids going like, where are their parents? Why are they running around like this? And as we're getting into Dublin, I'm sort of coming down a bit, and I realized I am sitting in the children's play area.
Classic Jack.
High as fuck.
Classic Jack Lloyd.
That's fucking awesome, Jack.
Hey, Darcy, how was that little bit of loudmouth?
It wasn't bad. I found it burnt.
I know that, but was it any good at all?
Yeah, it has a buzz to it. It's just I found it burned a little black and made it taste a little harsh. That's all.
Okay, no, that's what I was asking. Give her the truth, baby.
Hey, Len. Are you going to be?
And I do. I was a little hesitant at first, but
are you sending out the Titanimal? Are you going to send out Titanimal out his way?
Titanimal will be at the OCS probably by the end of April.
Okay, let me know what day so I can order some. Would you?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you should get.
That's about as insider information as I get. Just let me know when the weeds released, would you?
You can tell your local. Well, I guess you can order online OCS anyway.
I'll order it from online. Yeah.
Dispensary, that might be one you might want to bring in a case of.
Well, you know what? They do have your the mac and cheese, yeah, and they have the Shatterizer 8-ball. Yeah.
So my question is, how are they selling?
What Titanium? In the dispensary?
No, from that dispensary that Al shops at.
You know what? I don't know. What I do know is he wants to bring in the actual Shatterizers. Yeah. And I've put him in touch with. Well, I've put him in touch with the people.
Oh, okay.
And because he doesn't like the alternative, and we all know what the alternative is.
Yeah. But I would ask him how the Truro Cannabis stuff is selling there.
I don't go in there much, but when I do, I will. Yep.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see. Yeah,
anyway,
I mean,
I might pop back in if I get a chance. Pop back on.
All right. Well, then, thanks for popping in.
We'll still be here.
Yeah. Enjoy your drinks.
And I probably shouldn't introduce you to my wife tonight. Jack is kind of a lawyer, and we're talking about shrooms, and my lawyer on shrooms. So I don't know if she could dig that too much tonight.
You should bring her out.
Or she knows her husband does shrooms, so I guess maybe it's not such a big deal.
There you go. You just outed yourself on national. You just outed yourself on Audible.
Well, I outed myself. I have no issue with telling people I take them.
Me either. You know, I'm very public about it. And you know, if the police showed up at my door tomorrow, the only thing is I don't sell it. I don't.
No, either.
It's just mine, and it's helping me. And if you take it away from me, I'm not going to be here anymore. It's as simple as that. They have. I thank Paula from the bottom of my heart for putting me in touch with psilocybin, because it has saved my life. I would not be here today if she had not done that.
All right. Anyway, I might see you guys later. If not, have a great evening.
We'll see you later.
Man, I hope I didn't offend your wife.
No, you don't care. I'm just teasing.
Bring her out next time.
If I come out again, I'll bring her. All right, see you guys.
All right,
see you later.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah. So where since I brought it up there, Jack, where are we with things? I'm seeing 1 minute that they're doing research, they're allowing research, but then the next minute they've denied somebody. Is that somebody that you know that you can even talk about?
Well, I'm counsel on the sort of one of the lawyers on the case that's challenging the federal exemption system. So the denials relate to Section 56 of the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. Mm-hmm. So a host of people have been denied new exemptions, and people that had exemptions that said, look, I use this every 3 months and I want to continue doing it every 3 months legally. They've now revoked or denied those applications under Section 56 of the CDSA. Federal government's position is well, look, you have to use the special access program, but they're just not granting people access to psilocybin through that program. So it's it's a source of some frustration for the lawyers, certainly. But so that's why we're going to court. So ultimately, there's a big federal court action to that effect. So that's what we're doing on that front. So the fight is on as far as psilocybin is concerned. And then from a cannabis perspective, there's lots of interesting cases as always, but mostly it's just the continued obsession with criminalizing activity associated with cannabis, and that's the name of that sort of things. Yeah. So there's some big cases brewing, I'm sure, but that's kind of where everything is at right now.
One of the things that I've seen stuff about, and we've talked about, is people are not getting their renews, and they're just going to the cannabis store and buying what they want after doing a little bit of research. See, now most rec people, oh no, John, I'll take a puff. Most medical people will say, "What's in that?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So not all, but there are people learning.
Most medical people aren't going to really be into sharing joints with other people anyways.
Yeah. So my point is, so what's happening now is medical people, because it is so hard and doctors are saying no now, okay, you got your 4 plants, you can just go ahead and grow it yourself. They're not renewing. Or they're taking their time to renew, like I did.
Right.
Like I've sent everything in just because I can't afford to lose my house. Of
course.
Not that that's going to happen. So since I've been here, I've only done 4 plants at a time. When I get my thing, I'll go ahead and do what I want to do. Now, on the mushroom side of things, the psilocybin side of things, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I mean, I'm 60 years old this year, and if they want to come and knock on my fucking door and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Rapp, you're doing something that's illegal for your own health," fuck you. Let's go, Jack. Let's go play. I would happily walk into a courtroom with Jack Lloyd behind me and fight this battle if I had to. Because it's a battle that needs to be done. It's saved my life, like cannabis, and that battle isn't done either.
My attitude has always been this: I was using medical cannabis before I was a medical licensed patient.
Of course.
And if I hadn't, I'd have already been dead before I got licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but my problem was I got hit with a disease that everybody dies before they get diagnosed.
Usually.
I started treating it right away with high doses of cannabis while we narrowed it down to figure out what in the fuck I actually had.
Right.
My doctor would not sign the papers until I had an actual diagnosis. And that took a year and a half from me thinking I was going to the hospital with a stroke. If I hadn't used the cannabis, I'd have been dead before we figured out what I had. And the cannabis just kept me alive. So would I condone anybody for using mushrooms right now when it's pretty much irrefutable evidence of what they can do for mental health?
It has kicked my depression out the fucking door. Jack,
right.
You've known me for years. You've known me for years too, Marcel. Have I not? My whole attitude towards life changed. I was ready to pack it in how many times over the last 15 years?
For me, it's usually a couple times a year that happens.
Well, I think everybody, that's actually a healthy reaction. It's not doing it.
Mine's during relapses.
It's not doing it is the thing that's the good thing. But it's not unhealthy to have those thoughts as long as you don't act on them.
Right. My problem is
When you have a relapse, you don't give a
I
fuck.
have a relapse.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck.
But you have not had many. You've only had maybe 2 in the last 10 years.
What?
You've had more than that?
No, I do. I normally go through 2 a year.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And I'm coming up for another one soon.
Aww. Well, you fluff up
I
your
was still
pillow
at the
and
show.
get
I
it
was
ready.
still my last one.
No, you weren't. You were in bed. You did not. You were off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I did miss a couple of them.
That was the first time you've missed.
It lasted for 2.5 months.
It's usually me that's canceling.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you haven't missed. You haven't missed many, and neither is Jack. Jack's. I don't think he's missed. I think once he missed a show.
Well, I missed last Friday. I screwed you guys over because I was on my flight. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, what the fuck is that all about?
Right.
Let him work it in the way.
I blame Air Canada.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to get your peanuts.
Yeah.
Well, we always appreciate when you come on, Jack. You know, and we really never had we don't really have an agenda today to have you here. It was just because we missed you.
Oh, well, I love being here, and that's lovely, man. Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Plus, if anybody can think of the legal question they were supposed to ask, because they wanted to know a couple weeks back, Darcy, that they could go ahead and ask that question.
Well, I was going to say we've got our
Darcy.
comments on, and if anybody listening that wants to ask Jack something, he may or may not be able to answer it, but he can try. Think of it as free legal advice. No, it's not. It's not. No. You have to pay for that shit. It's 2023. The man has a house and a big car to pay for, and soon to be a jet.
I have neither of those.
I'm kidding.
I don't own anything.
You should write a book on different genetics.
What? Try that again, Darcy. You're breaking up bad, buddy.
Oh, I said you should write a book of genetics and seeds.
Didn't work again, buddy. He's going to get angry and leave in a minute. This is fun. All right. Where'd everybody go? Do we need to take a pee break?
No, I was just got a text message. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to play this real quickly because it's CBG stuff, and then we'll be right back. This is the 420 radio show. We'll be back with Jack in a second or two.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com.
Hey, this is Cheech. This is Chong. And you're listening to Lifestyle Radio. What is it? Lifestyle Radio. Say it one more time. 420 Radio? Ooh.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Are you an independent musician? How would you like to have your songs played on hundreds of radio stations just like the one you're listening to right now? Join MusicSubmit.com and we'll promote your music to radio stations and blogs in your genre. It's free to set up your account, and we guarantee your music will be considered for airplay by radio stations worldwide. Why not sign up today? It's free. MusicSubmit.com. Radio promotion for indie musicians.
This is how it grew to be.
Go, Darcy.
That was your cue, Darcy.
Yeah, just 1 second.
I love you, buddy. You're just too easy. You're just too easy, Darcy.
Yeah, I know.
He's trying to talk to his mom and do a show.
That I am.
Well, maybe your mom could teach us how to grow.
Well, you know what? Tell your mom that you're busy doing a podcast on audible.com and you're going to show her what you do for a living and talk about weed.
I do that every day of the week.
Well, good. When he starts screwing up, you can correct him instead of me.
Yes, okay. Sounds like a plan.
Go, Darcy. What are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
It's your grow segment. Hello.
Well, yeah, but I was trying to ask Jack earlier, and my shit was all fucked up.
Hey, Darcy, how long have you been doing this now?
Oh, God.
A few years.
A couple.
And we do the same thing at 8:00 every show. Darcy time.
Nope. Sometimes it's later.
A little bit.
We try and hit it as close
to my point is halfway. You would think that you would have something prepared, knowing that you're coming on a show to do a gross. I'm just giving you a hard time, buddy.
I know you are.
Is it working?
No.
Did it rattle your brain enough to come up with a subject?
Well, no. I was trying to ask Jack earlier about writing a book about genetics and seeds.
He's right here.
Yeah, so I'm working on one actually, Darcy. I'm with Green Candy Press. We did the Cannabis Breeders Bible. That was our big one. But the Robert Connell Clark book was always other than my book on it, like with the Green Candy Press, that was the only book on it. You want to do a book about breeding?
I'd love to do a book about breeding and
dude, you should totally do it. You should totally.
Yeah, we should. That'd be awesome because I mean, there's so much information that can go into that people should know.
Yeah,
and that people want to know that. I mean, if you have a book, well, then there you go. I mean, the big book of buds, they do talk about certain strains and stuff, but they don't really go into the genealogy of them strains and why they became popular.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Big Book of Buds was ripping off, what's his name? There was another book. And then I looked at what they did, like the Indica Sativa volumes that I did. I looked at what they did and I said, all right, I'm doing my version. So they did maybe 100 strains. I did 600 distinct strains of cannabis from 600 breed. It was unbelievable. I'm shocked when I look back at how many goddamn weed strains talking to all these breeders.
This is it. Those are the ones that I want to go in depth and research, like Mongolian indica. Why is that strain so popular, and what made them genetics do the things they do? I still say it has a lot to do with the placement of the earth and where that cannabis is grown. But then again, you could
if you think about it, a lot of that Himalayan is grown at a higher altitude, which means it would have less oxygen content.
But you're closer to the sun, so it's going to produce more trichomes to protect them seeds in that plant.
Exactly, and that's why you tend to get your best hash plants coming from the higher altitudes. Short.
I like that. That's why I like
trichrome-rich plants.
That's always what I like growing was them super trichome-rich plants like that, and let it mature an extra week longer. And that was just because I like a little more amber, because I like getting that little more coach lock feeling out of it, right?
Yeah.
I find it numbs my legs a lot better.
So here's a question. Is there a higher concentration of CO2 at higher altitudes if there's less oxygen? See, now I got to go and look that shit up.
I'm looking at my books now, going through. I always loved Nepali strains, right? For basically what you're describing, but it's almost like a Kush thing, like the high potency from and good hash from Afghani varietals that are grown in the mountains. I was just thinking, a million years. Did you guys ever know a Dutch guy named Sannie, Sannie? He was a breeder in Holland, and he did these really interesting varietals. And the hell was his name? He was out of London. Anyway, somebody really, really did a good job growing his stuff. And it won, I think, the first Treating Yourself. It won an award. But anyways, I remember it was legitimately like 28%. Like, it was a very, very high potency. And I can remember smoking it. And it was so powerful that I was like, I'm having like my brain is melting. That's how high I am on this stupid
Durban, that strain for me, the two strains like that for me, Jack, one was Durban Poison the first time I smoked it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It just took me to another dimension. I got really high. And the other strand was actually Northern Lights No. 5.
Oh yeah, dude. Northern Lights No. 5 from who was the guy out on out in the
Mel
Rocky?
Frank and Todd. You want Mel Frank and Todd McCormick's cut of Northern Lights No. 5.
Yeah, well, they had a great one. And then Dr. Atomic. Do you remember Dr. Atomic from back in the day, from like Vancouver?
Yep. Because he has Atomic Haze.
Yeah, I loved that Atomic Haze. Like, I went mental for that.
I remember all them strains, because all them strains Mark Emery used to sell in his Cannabis Culture magazine. Yeah. And that's when, I was 16 years old, and that's when I started buying seeds out of the magazines and started really getting into growing cannabis and understanding the plant for what it was.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then all of a sudden I got hurt, and then it's my medicine. It saved my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for cannabis, because I would have ate way too many pills, Jack. I was eating 55 pills a day to try to numb the pain. And it just wasn't working. Every morning you wake up and you eat a handful of pills and you fall asleep. Eat a handful of pills and fall asleep. I got sick and tired of falling asleep in the ditch.
Oh, you should message Todd McCormick and tell him that NL5 changed your life. He'd love that, dude.
Right? Like, I'm trying to get them to come on the show as a guest, so I sent them out a message. So if they listen to the show, I check your
CC me. Yeah. I know them.
I sent it to them. I sent it to them on Instagram, because I watch them. I watch them all the time on Instagram when they do their live videos.
You know who you guys should get is Kenny from Trichome Technologies. Like, I
follow them too, Jack.
What's that?
They have a lot of. I said I follow them too. They have a lot of really good literature on their Instagram.
Yeah, he's great. I did his book.
Al, Darcy's one of those ones that knows how to use Instagram.
Okay, so use it, Darcy. Get us some guests.
Dale does too.
Hey, I found my answer. The availability of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis at high altitudes. So contrary to current opinion, the reduction of the availability of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis with increasing altitude due to reduced barometric pressure is only very small. The increased rate of diffusion of CO2 in air with altitude compensates for the effect of its lower partial pressure. The relation between CO2 availability and barometric pressure depends also on the characteristic of the plant's CO2 uptake mechanism and on the prevailing air temperature.
So that would be something that I should be concerned about here, because I'm higher up in elevation.
Higher altitude.
Yeah.
You're almost at sea level.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're talking the Himalayan mountains,
yes,
you're talking a mile or two up.
Okay.
Higher than you. So imagine a hill behind you that is high enough that it just rocks. There's no trees.
Okay.
Then you would be at a high altitude.
All right. So it's just
here's a nice
just
little
me feeling
tidbit,
high is all it is. What?
It's nice to know your altitude, because you think about little facts of, if both polar ice caps were forced to melt, how high do you think the water's going to go? Come on, anybody.
Pretty high. There's I read a book about this.
Yeah, 293 feet are all around the world.
Oh.
So 293 feet would put the prairies back into an ocean.
What about Toronto? Would Toronto be underwater?
Oh yeah.
Where wouldn't be underwater?
I'm looking to see
any
here.
Any place that's got an altitude of over 300 feet above sea level.
That's what I'm looking to see where we are here, what level we're at.
But the chances of both polar ice caps melting are very slim in anyone's lifetime and any of your kids' lifetime, because if they melted, it would mean that the axis of the Earth had changed and it would create two new poles. So you would end up having the same thing happen. Unless the sun got really, 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 really hot. And then it wouldn't matter because everybody's cooked. But if you look at cities like Venice, now because the water levels are increasing, they're running into problems. Dubai is running into problems with their islands. And then I look at places like Manhattan, which is built on a swamp. Washington, D.C., built on a swamp.
We're not built on a swamp. We're at 889 feet. That's where we are here in Terrace Bay.
Above sea level.
Above sea level. The elevation. 271 meters.
Nice. See, you'd be safe.
I'd be safe. Yeah.
Nova Scotia would be an island, but actually Nova Scotia could be an island with one good storm on a full moon.
Wait. I thought Nova Scotia was already an island.
No, Nova Scotia is a peninsula. We're connected to the mainland.
Unlike
of
PEI.
Canada
at
New Brunswick.
Oh.
PEI is an island. Newfoundland is an island.
Okay.
But a really big storm on a full moon, Nova Scotia would also become an island. Because there's nothing really protecting the isthmus or peninsula or whatever you want to call it, the narrow strip of land that a couple $1 billion a day travels across on a highway or a rail line. And the only thing actually keeping the water off is going to be the rail line. And a rail line that was probably put in 100 years ago, so how much of a storm can it take? Anyways, Darcy.
Marcel.
We're still waiting to hear on growing.
And we're watching Jack
writing a book. See how I saw how you got out of that? You're not getting out of that.
Well, we were talking about genetics.
Not really. You were talking about writing a book.
Well, what do you think writing a book's about?
Yeah, but you weren't talking about writing genetics. You were talking about genetics. You were talking about writing a book.
Well, I was talking about genetics. I told you the first strain I ever got high off of.
What was it? His mother don't even know.
It was Durban poison.
Awesome.
Did you grow it?
Yeah, well, no, my stepdad did.
Well, then that has nothing to. Then that has nothing to do with the grow segment.
Oh God, Marcel!
You see where I'm going with this?
Well, this is your fault because I ate your last two extra strength gummies tonight because I knew you're coming down Sunday, so I knew I could afford to do this.
Well, then that's your fault. That's an issue, not an me.
No, it's an issue because you make such good edibles.
Bite me. Don't eat them. If you can't handle it. Anyways, here's my question. So we're right now in the middle of March.
Oh, you can start your plants now if you want.
St. Patrick's Day is now a good time to start your plants.
Well, if you want, for your clones, if you're definitely cutting clones, you definitely want to have your plants started now.
Well, yeah.
You could be in the bedroom, just saying. Can I have a hot dog?
When should
No,
I for example, Al.
Yo.
Al.
Hello.
Al, you're going to grow to to have clones?
I'm going to grow something real soon to get clones. I just have to wait for a check to come in. I'm got to wait until the 1st of the month.
Well, the latest you can start it out is about the 15th of April.
Oh, no, it'll be around the 1st of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, but
April
that's
to be the latest.
To be able to have the plant big enough to cut clones, so that you'll have
cut clones. Well, you got to sex that too, right? So you want to grow for at least 30 to 45 days.
Okay. Well,
unless you get feminized plants.
I'm looking at the clones and I'm looking at feminized seeds. Right. I'm narrowing. I'm narrowing things down for what I want to get on OCS. And did you order your seeds from OCS yet, Marcel?
I don't order seeds from OCS.
We can't order from OCS.
Oh, because you're in Nova Scotia.
We can only order.
Did you order? Okay, let me rephrase that for you, ding dong. Did you get the seeds that you were looking at the other week? The Orange Crush or whatever it was called.
The ones I already have?
Actually, there's a new one. There's a new one.
The ones you told me to look up on OCS last week, you had already ordered them, you said.
No. I was given one.
Oh.
I wouldn't order them. Okay. That's Critical Orange Punch.
That's the one I'm going to get, yeah.
From Dutch Passion.
Okay.
But there's a new strain
The Dutch
now.
Passion's got that critical. I love that. The critical.
It's not that expensive, Jack. You get
Jack,
8 seeds for like $60.
Critical Mass was my favorite strain for like years.
But the best people that grow that bred the critical strain, in my opinion, are the people on your shirt.
Oh yeah, you saw my shirt.
Dana Femme, man, they bred the best critical, man, and the best cheese so far that I've tasted.
Yeah,
they have awesome genetics, man.
I loved their critical. I grew their critical and enjoyed it for a long time.
They're critical because they have a critical plus, and it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm right with you, Darcy. I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely agree. I love that you saw my T-shirt.
Yeah.
I have I've been traveling. I just came off like a month on the road, and I have not done laundry. So all I have are free T-shirts that various people have given me. I'm wearing through, and a whole bunch of my Dynafem T-shirts are women's T-shirts. I'm just wearing them.
We can't tell.
Like, well, they don't stink, so I'm gonna wear them.
Yeah, go for it, man. But no, Dynafem, man, they have their shit in order, man.
So next time you see Jack at an event, walk up to him and go, "Hi, Jack."
When did you wash that T-shirt last?
Yeah.
When I'm traveling, I travel super light. So when I travel, I did a month in DC for these trials. I wash my clothes in like the sink of my hotel room.
They don't have a washer and dryer that you can use?
If I smell.
They don't have a washer and dryer you can use? Most hotels do.
Sure they do. I'm too cheap and
that's what it is.
Neurotic
Cheapness.
to use theirs. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I love Dynafem. I've been a huge fan of theirs since like 2010. So I'm right with you, Darcy. You know that they had their big problems in Spain with the stupid Madrid tax people. So wishing them well.
Oh, definitely all the best. Same as Sensei Seeds and Dutch Passion. I mean, those were all seed banks that I.
Well, they've been around for so long. Even I know those names, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million different breeders out there now. And
oh, sure.
I mean, you just got to do your research and know what seeds to buy and what ones not, or which ones to stay away from.
Jack,
yeah.
Do you remember the seed bank down on Lakeshore by the big Goodyear plant? Many days, and you used to walk in there, and the big guy be at the door and say, "How you doing?" And they didn't want to answer questions. Just come in, get your fucking seeds, get the fuck out. $50 got you 5. Got me 5 BC bud seeds. Back, this must have been the 80s, I guess, maybe early 90s. And I'm sure they're still around somewhere. I miss those days walking into cool stores like what was the name of the store there with the big elephant down on Queen Street there? They sell the bongs and hookahs and all that.
Sacred Seeds.
Ah, thank you. That was a place to go in. I bought my first hookah there. It was $80. I bought it with my birthday present my aunt sent me. And I had it for years and years and years, and I broke it in Mount Forest one day. I had my first vaporizer was a vapor tower. You remember those? No? Yep. I've always wanted a volcano, but they're very expensive still.
My first dab rig was 2 knives and a torch.
Yeah. I recently, when we were packing up my mom's apartment, we found those knives. She saved them.
When I was a kid, I don't know anybody that didn't have a set of those knives.
Well, she found the 2 knives that we used from her silver set, right? So she kept them, of course, right? I think my sister has that now. But, yeah.
We didn't get much grow information out of Darcy tonight.
No, we didn't. We got more grow information out of Jack.
Yeah. You can say that. Darcy would outgrow me in a heartbeat. I help growers express themselves. That is my role.
Yes.
I'm not a grow guy.
He knows his place.
I had these guys out of Alberta, 38th Street Seed Company or something, and they had a strain called Error 404 was their strain, and it was some Kush varietal. And actually, I have nothing but good things to say about it. So I go to grow it, and then somebody couldn't do a trial, so I had to go do it. So I left it this plant. I call it the plant that I couldn't kill. So I left it growing, and didn't water it. Nobody helped it at all, and it wouldn't die. So I went and ran this trial and came back, and it did not look good, but it was not dead. And I ended up finishing it under a little LED light and with some love and tender care. And anyone that saw it kept saying, "And you edit books about how to grow cannabis, and this is the cannabis you're growing, you piece of shit." I go, this thing is just a war survivor. Like I tortured it.
Wow. You remember I grew one in my living room under a LED light that you just screw into a bulb that just hung over it. And I got 1.5 ounces out of it, but it wasn't anything special, right? I just had it in the back, sitting in the corner. Nobody questioned it or anything, But I remember when I was in Mount Forest, I had a single plant sitting in my window in the front of the house. Didn't even think about it. Needed some light, put a plant in the window. Then I get my neighbor came over and says, so-and-so down the road, he's the fire chief, and he's been eyeballing. I saw him standing in front of your place, staring at your plant one morning. I just thought you'd like to know. Next thing you know it, a couple of weeks later, I had moved the plant after that. He comes over and does an inspection of my photography area because I had a photography studio. Asked me if I had a fire extinguisher, all those questions. I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah. Skirted by that one.
I would call that dodging a bullet.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. That was, 25 years ago now. So maybe 20 years ago. But things are different, aren't they? In a few more weeks, people are going to go openly plant stuff in their backyard and watch it grow. And
watch it grow and feed it and take care of it, and some little punk will come back and steal it in September.
But that's par for the course, right? That's what happens. There's always one asshole at every party.
You build an 8-foot tall cage all around your plants,
mm-hmm.
and do it out of chain link if you want.
And you just leave your dog back there with them.
No, but basically build yourself a dog kennel in your backyard.
Yep. And
put a nice door on it with a lock and
or a grow shed.
You'll be all set. If you want, you can go out and buy fence line for cattle.
That's exactly what I'm doing in my backyard to keep my dog in.
Yeah,
I'm going to
use
buy
fence line for cattle and put that around your garden, and that'll keep critters from going into your garden.
Well, I'm gonna take that one step further and use that for my fence for my backyard. I like that look, anyways, that rustic look, and it's you can get a roll of that stuff for $100. A post costs you about 10, so
Yeah, but if you're gonna wire up your garden,
I'm not wiring up my garden, dude. I got a frickin' greenhouse in my backyard. Remember?
Oh, well, if you want to put a fence around that and wire it to one, I would suggest you get one that's rated for 50 to 150 miles.
Wiring anything.
That way, if somebody that touches it the wrong way, they can bounce across your yard.
Dude.
Into the other fence.
You can't, Rosie hears anything in the yard, in the front, the back, the side, and she's up just like your dog, dude, so.
Yeah, except
my dog won't kill you. She might hurt you. What happens when that happens? Like, are you allowed to protect your plants in that aspect, Jack, with your dog? And if somebody does break in, what kind of terms are you on there when if they get bit, somebody breaks onto your property?
Well, the cannabis is kind of a red herring in that legal situation. So really what you're asking is if someone breaks into your property with ill intent, what's the consequence if your dog bites them? Generally, you are, like, from a criminal liability perspective, it's relatively low. Like, you're in your home, they've broken in.
Yeah.
From a civil or tortious liability perspective, you probably want to post a sign that says, hey, there is actually a dangerous dog here, and you don't want to come in here without permission, or else you might face consequences.
I've been told that beware of dog signs are not a good idea legally. Those specifically, beware of dog.
I can answer all of these because I used to work for animal control. And when it comes to a dog sign, like a beware dog sign, in court it's been argued that a 3-year-old does not know how to read that sign, therefore it's null and void. If somebody breaks into your house or comes onto your property and your dog attacks them, it's very, very rare that they would ever face any repercussions, or the owner ever face repercussions, because the person invaded the property that dog lives at.
Yes.
And a case in point was, I got a call in the middle of the night from the police, which was normal because they always tended to call me in the middle of the night. And I had to rush down to this guy that's in handcuffs, screaming that the dog attacked him, and he was just walking by. The dog is trained to stay in its property because it had an underground fence that kept the dog on the property. He was still screaming that he was bit by the dog. It was a full-grown rough collie, and it grabbed him by the throat and held him to the ground. So the law states that to be considered a bite, it actually has to break the skin. This dog never broke the skin, but he held him to the ground until his screams alerted the neighbors. They called the cops, and these guys showed up. So he got charged for trespassing, but his whole plan was that he was going to sue the homeowners because he got bit by their dog. But he never got actually bit. He had little red marks, but that was it. So if your dog attacks somebody on your property, you're pretty much safe, right? If it happens at the edge of a sidewalk and somebody's walking by and your dog grabs them, you're going to be liable.
Well, you're supposed to maintain total control of your animal.
Exactly. So my dog is trained to go to the backyard. She has no concern. The front yard is not her concern, nor is it a threat. Right? So anybody walking by, she'll bark at them. But she doesn't go after anybody because she's not allowed in our front yard.
Makes sense. Rosa doesn't go into the front as well. I deter her from that. So once I have a fence up for the surround, then she'll be able to do what she wants. But for now, she's on a lead.
I can't see.
My backyard is her domain.
Well, yes,
and she knows that it's her job to protect that area, so she makes sure nothing comes into that area. And if something's in that area and they get bit by that dog, one, it's really going to hurt. And two, I'm going to laugh.
Yeah. So, Jack, I want to make sure that you have enough time to get a plug out there for your law firm, as well as
I just want to note I'm not giving any legal advice around liability on dog attack.
No.
Weed plants. No legal advice.
I also want to make sure that people know where they can go to find your books, because those books are fucking awesome.
Oh, well, if you I'm a lawyer. If you'd like to chat with me, I practice. My criminal defense practice is just me, Lloyd Law Professional Corporation, or you can find me on Twitter. I'm Jack Lloyd Lawyer. And then my regulatory practice is Cannabis and Psychedelics Law Group. So CanSci Law. You can see us online. And other than that, and then as well, my books. If you're interested in some cannabis books or psilocybin books, I'm called Green Candy Press. So you can find me on Instagram or Twitter as Green Candy Press.
Darcy fell down. Go boom boom.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he just sent a little note there. Yeah, I'm going to send. Can you send me, or where can I get a list of books?
GreenCandyPress.com.
They're on there? Okay.
Yeah, and if not, just message me and I'll send you. I used to do it for marketing purposes. I'd have a list of all the books. So
that's what I'd like. Yeah, a list. That would be cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I definitely want the two cookbooks, the cannabis one and the mushroom one.
Okay.
Because I
was just looking at
the mushroom one. Is I'm trying to find ways to ingest it where I don't have to taste it, and grinding it up is. I will tell you, thanks for the advice there, Marcel, about wearing a mask. I even kicked the fucking dog out of the room when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, I had it in my hand at Wayne's shop there at the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and I had it in my hand, and I should have just turned around and bought it. And then the next time I went, they didn't have any.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book.
You selling a lot of those?
Yeah.
Awesome. Have any of your books won any awards, Jack? No,
I don't think so. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I did a graphic novel with a lady named Abby Denson, and I think she did win a pen award or something. She did win something, but none of my I did my cannabis books. My purpose with the cannabis books was to make cannabis books that were just as good as mainstream gardening books, right? So you the Big Book of Roses or whatever, because
my mom has that.
My
mom had that.
Yeah, I love Ed Rosenthal. I love George Cervantes. I love these George Van Patten. I love these guys, but their books, like, they don't calibrate the photos properly. They'll sell like 8 pages to like burrito restaurants in Los Angeles for advertisements, and I'm going like, you're selling this book in across the planet, and like you've got ads for a burrito restaurant in fucking San Francisco. Like, who gives a shit? So it's just, I didn't like how they were doing it, and so I love their work. Like, I'm deeply respectful of Ed Rosenthal and George Van Patten, but
a lot of advertising.
I just didn't love that, and so
it's more like a magazine than a book when it gets to that point.
Yeah, or just, I don't know, like our community deserves fucking good books the same as any other. So the way I did mine were like, I had proper indexes, and it was like calibrated photos, and I sourced my shit. And so anyway, that was the idea. So I don't know why I went on this diatribe about it. I'm sorry.
The one book that I used to have, it got stolen in between then and now, was Professor Lee's 101
beautiful book,
marijuana grow book or whatever.
Marijuana 101.
Yeah. And the way he used to come on the show quite a bit, and did a little segment for us in that. But what I enjoyed about that book was the fact that it was his notes that he wrote down as he went along, going through that journey that he went through, and all layman. There was no formulas. It was, this is how I did it. This is what happened. This is what you need to watch out for. And this is what I fucked up.
But he was like, I'm totally with you, and that's why he's wonderful. But he was wonderful as well. Like, he did a column in Weed World magazine for like 8 years, teaching people, and like people would call with these like totally obscure problems with their weed plants, and he was so good. Like, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, actually, like Charles like knew his shit, man. Like, he's a great grower." I always felt, anyways. Food for thought.
Hi, Darcy. Are you back?
Darcy, I don't know what the fuck that was all about.
We were just wrapping up the show.
Oh. Oh. Do you like her nice pink house coat?
It's pink.
I don't care.
She wants to know, Al.
I do not care.
No, don't even get me involved in that, please. Anyways, wild. So
there
we got 10 minutes left. Anybody want to say anything?
Well, I want to say thanks to Derek for always coming on and entertaining and enlightening us on
stuff
what's going on in the lovely world.
You know who you guys should have on? I'd be really cool, like, because we've been talking about Charles and Marijuana 101, and what I always loved, Marijuana 101 was published originally. He self-published it. He printed like 100 copies and was selling them on Amazon, and we took it and turned it into this beautiful book, and he sold like 100,000 copies, like a lot, and the cover was a photo from Delta 9. Like, did you ever grow anything from Delta 9 Labs, like the seed company? So, but he is now living in Thailand. And
They're Warlock, I did.
Yeah. He's the nicest guy. His name's Ed. Would you guys have him on? Because I think like you could do a really great show with just to talk about like what's happening in Thailand, because it's really interesting.
Set it up. Send me the information.
It like what's happening in Thailand is this like they've legalized essentially, but it's just in flux, and so you're seeing this huge influx of Western money going there to say like, okay, we have a store here now, etc. Yeah. And then guys like Ed, he's been there like for ages, right? Like he knows it inside out. And like what's fascinating about him is he's a cannabis purist, but he's also a professional photographer. And that was why I used to feature him so much, because I had a calibration guy that did the photos, and he loved that guy's photos because he's like, he really takes good photos. Like there's almost no work required to be done on these pictures. And I remember asking him one time, like, how the hell do you take such good pictures of weed? And he goes, I learned how to be a photographer from my father, and my father trained under Ansel Adams, who's one of the most famous American photographers of all time. So I'm sitting there. So the cover of Marijuana 101 is, I view it as my Ansel Adams cover, because I go, it's like, because anyways, it's a beautiful photo, right? And it's this guy, Ed. I'm going to connect you guys. You should have him on. You have a blast.
Please.
Probably the timing would work, because it's probably like 10 a.m. and out there, and he'll just be puttering around, and he'll come hang out. I think you'd get along real good with him.
Awesome. Let's do that. Once again, Jack, thank you for always being there when we need you, and even sometimes when we don't.
I used to when Charles was on. No one would want me to participate, and I'd be sending him weird weed questions just to mess with them.
Are you doing any speaking stuff coming? Are you going to be doing the circuit, as they say?
There's a really interesting cannabis festival that is happening in Toronto at the Parkdale Hall. I usually speak at it. It's I'm very interested in experimenting with the provincial rules on events. So that's kind of the core subject there.
Are you gonna go to the Canna Expo?
When is that?
That's a great question. I think it's in June sometime. I have no idea.
You should come and speak at Harvest Fest.
You try that every year, dude.
Because I'll tell you, everybody down here would love to have you speak.
Well, we've got Can Expo coming at the end of the month on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I think. Are you going to go to that, Jack? That's down at the exhibition.
Oh, great question. I have no idea. I absolutely will if I'm able.
Well, if you're down there and you see Al Graham walking around with his microphone and stuff, say hello, because we're going to be down there as CBG TV. We're going to do our first on location.
I'll come. I'll smoke a joint with them, and we can talk about stuff.
There you go.
That's
Sure.
Fun. I'm totally down.
I'll tell him to look for you.
Remo used to do it. Like Remo used to do it, and then post it on YouTube, and it was always so.
We used to run into Remo all the time.
And you go back and you watch it on YouTube, and it was like, oh, geez, I remember this. And so I love what you're doing.
The difference between then and now is now we're doing video. We weren't doing video back then. So all those years of Karma Cups and Treating Yourself Expos and all those other events that we had, all audio. So now with CBG, we're trying to figure out how we can make those old shows that are just audio podcasts interesting enough for TV Roku audience, right? So we're trying to figure that out.
You're going to be looking for photos of that to make up
montage. Yeah, that's going to be fun, isn't it?
That could loop for wow.
Yep, we have 5 minutes.
I found
left.
one. Someone sent me a photo from, it was either 2009 or 2010 from this Weed Expo, and I've got my books, and I'm talking to this older gentleman who, like, you would never know it, but like, or anyways, actually, I probably shouldn't say. I'm realizing. But anyways, it's like, I see that photo and I remember meeting this dude and going like, oh, you're...
yeah, and the lawyer comes out.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I can't get around that. Or even Martin. Remember Martin from Ruhr? Like, I've got an old photo. And like he was so nice. I put him in a book, and he goes, are you going to come to this thing next year? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm going to bring you a Ruhr bong with Green Candy Press logo on it, and he's like a big deal. And I remember I said, like, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. I never thought anything of it. And about 6 months later, I get a phone call from like this super like not cannabis oriented German woman. Like she's like clearly works for some medical company or something. And she goes, I need the high definition logo of Green Candy Press, and it needs to be sent to this. Like, so basically, he was fulfilling his promise, but his like administrative.
Did you ever get it?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
in our office still.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I just have such fond memories of the expos. That's funny. So
Well, you know, that's. I remember the first time we met was at TY Expo, I think, and that was a long time ago. I miss Marco and his events because they were what we wanted. Like, because he was part of the community, and he was a big part of the community back then. But it was the way we wanted to do it. It was just a bunch of people sharing some love for products and lifestyle, right? And now you go into Lyft or these other ones, and it's all corporate. And I don't know any of the speakers. I don't see, and we already talked about this, but it's just different. And I wouldn't even know what to do at something like Cannabis or something, you know. I mean, you just
Cannabis, I think, it's still got the vibe. I've never gone. I should have.
I thought about it.
There's so many lovely people from back in the day and stuff. Like, I still think that vibe is the same, but like I was in the middle of this horrible trial, and the hotel I was staying at was hosting all the Vancouver Lyft people. So every time I'd go get a hamburger at the bar after a long day of work, I'd have to listen to all these like
stories.
People from the expo. Yeah. And it was lovely in its way. Like I liked it, but it's a very different vibe than it used to be.
It so is. I went to Lyft and I saw Sarah Sunday and a couple of other people. And that was it. I went upstairs. Oh, I saw Neve. I went upstairs. I wandered around quickly for 5 minutes. I didn't even buy a pass or anything. I just used Timmy's because Marijane and Timmy's were there. And I was just like, you know, I said hello to the churro table.
Should say goodnight, Al.
You know.
Yeah, we're almost at that.
We have 2 minutes. I've been trying to say goodnight for 5 minutes already.
Well, say goodnight, Al.
Say goodnight, Al.
All right. Say goodnight, Al.
Al?
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack, again, by the way.
Oh, it's awesome as always to hang out with you guys. Darcy, I'd love to hear more about like if you're thinking about doing a book. I have some like paperwork. Like I used to, like when I worked with authors and stuff, like I got a document that sort of walks you through how you should organize your thoughts in order to do a book on this. But
well, you guys will have to talk about that. Yeah.
Definitely, I definitely want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Take high definition pictures.
Anybody you think that would be good on the show, Jack, just point them our way. And thanks again, Bud. And
I should do a Thailand show. I'm going to send you my buddy Ed, and let's do a Thailand show because I think what's going on there is fascinating.
Okay, we will. Let's talk about that in the weeks to come. This is the 420 Radio Show. We're here Fridays. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Al. That's Jack, Darcy, Marcel, and Dale. And we'll talk to you all next week. Good night.
Peace, love, and hippie shit and all that other fun stuff.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
We are the Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com.
Everybody bail.